against us, you shall be crippled and broken!
Welcome back to Seattle.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Happy to be here.
Maurizio, Kataklysm, Gina Grotesque, METALOCITY. You're here recently with Dying Fetus and Summer Slaughter tour as well.
Yeah.
And you're with Napalm Death. How's that going?
Pretty good. It's been a good tour. Long tour. It's like 5 weeks long, I think 5.5, something like that. So we've been like pretty much on the road like all year long, and it's been pretty exhausting, and we're still like not even halfway with what we got to do. You know, we got a lot of stuff coming up, so it's a little tiring, but the tour's been really good. We've been having a good time.
That's awesome.
Fans have been awesome. You know, something nice to go into it and slamming, and that's what we want.
Awesome. Moving on to music, you've had several albums coming out since you guys first began in like 93, right?
92, yeah, 93, yeah.
How do you find room to progress and evolve musically while staying true to what you started with?
I think like anything else, you change because you grow and you mature, and things, your life changes. And as you change with your music. I think you're not gonna, you might like things that you liked when 20 years ago, but at the same time, you're gonna start learning different things and liking different things, and I think that you're gonna adapt your music to that. Some bands do dramatic changes, and that hurts them. We try to stay true to our roots because that's what made us who we are. So we try to keep that as a focus point, and then we just we have to have a little bit of evolution in there. Kataklysm's a hybrid of different technical, melodic, groove oriented, some old school hardcore punk kind of. We got a little bit of everything in there. So we're just one big fucking melting pot. That's Kataklysm.
The lineup changes, you hardly had any drastic lineup changes. I mean, you started on bass, maybe vocals. Other than that, drumming switched a couple times, but you're back to
the original,
Yeah. How do you keep the same main members for such a long period of time without needing a change to a need to diversify?
I just think that we're 4 lucky guys that met, and we just had that common goal of doing the same thing. You know what I mean? And we all wanted the same thing, and we were ready to not all be like hotheads and take our time. And we've learned off our mistakes. But the important thing is we're family, and I think that's one thing that maybe some bands don't have. Plus we got chemistry to write together. So. We went through everything, so this band's seen it all, and we're still together and stronger than ever in a way, so we look after each other. I think that makes it, you have to when you're on the road, so.
And that's basically
that's the secret to us, it's you just have to have a bond, and you have to have something that everybody wants a common goal, you don't have to come in one guy wants to be a rock star, the other wants to have a normal 9-to-5 job and just do this as a hobby. It's not going to be, you know what I mean? It's not going to work. Everybody's got to want the same thing. I think that's what we have in this band.
Awesome.
And the one good thing is we're able to always get back up when we get knocked down. And that's one thing that's important.
Very important. You've described yourself as Northern Hyperblast, and since then the term has been used around the world by other metal bands, many metal fans. What would you say, is the defining line between, let's say, technical death metal and Northern Hyperblast? What makes Northern Hyperblast
different? Right. Our fans kind of gave us that tag early on in our career because we were when we came out, the death metal bands were dead. Bands like Death, Obituary, those were the slower death metal bands. Yeah, there you go. Those were the more fashionable death metal bands at that time. We came out with like, you know, blasting beats and technical and 25 riffs in the song, and this band, when we first started to where we are now, is very different in many aspects because we were more underground and more into like, we want to be the most extreme band in the world, which you can maybe, you know, sense that to like bands like Hate Eternal or Christian Today and stuff like that. We were that type of band when we first started, you know. So Kataklysm has become, you know, when they gave us that tag, it was, they said, you're not death metal, you're like hyper and blasting all the time. They're like, you're hyper blast. And I was like, what? And the guy meant hyper for speed and blast for power. And I thought it was cool. And we added the word northern because we're from Canada, you know. So that's how we like ended up with northern hyper blast. It was just a fluke, but then it catched on. And then we used to have bands and labels advertising hyper blasting death metal. And then they used to go like southern, northern, like the southern hyper blast from Spain, you know, bands would use our shit and just switch it. So I thought it was cool, you know, that we came out with that thing. That was just a cool thing. But it's not a huge difference from like any other, you know, I think, you know, technical band. I think it's technical death metal with like, you know, off the wall shit. So.
Okay, that's like cool. This next question might be a little bit silly,
okay.
But I've always wanted to know. Why do you spell Kataklysm with a K instead of common C, or is it directly derived from Kataklysmos?
Yes, the band was supposed to be called like that. We didn't like it because it sounded, you know, goofy, Kataklysmos, like that. And then the reason we changed the C's to K's is we just didn't like the way it looked of C's. It looked, I don't know, we were like, it just doesn't look cool. And then we put the K's and we were like, you know what, cool. And then we just kept it like that, you know. So we were, you know, retards, and we just fucking do it, you know.
It's cool to see anyways.
Yeah, fuck the C, and we just fucking put the K's on there, and it looked better, so that's why we kept it like that.
Awesome. Well, some of you guys have a project called Exdale, with a debut album, Romulus, coming up, and this is kind of a personal inspiration for you, considering ethnicity.
Yeah, right.
What can fans of Kataklysm expect of Exdale?
Fans of Kataklysm, the one thing they can expect is going to be, you know, there's nothing fake about it. It's going to be a real band with like real emotions like we usually are. The one thing they can expect is they're definitely going to have the same guys that are in Kataklysm playing in this thing, so you're going to have that same type of feel. But the music is very different. It's very epic and very symphonic compared to Kataklysm. And but I think if you go and search what Kataklysm is really about, and you know, Kataklysm is a very soulful band. You know, it's like really, it comes from the inside. Everything we do. Kataklysm is more of a street-oriented band. We're more of a social aspect on everything. We fantasize with a few of our lyrics, but they come down to basically social needs and social stuff you see on the streets and whatnot, you know. But this is more of a fantasy version of that into like history, you know. So it's a completely different thing, but similar in some aspects, you know. So musically, it's much more melodic. There's no blast beats. It's melodic. A lot of barbaric type of, you know, hymns, and it's very warlike. So people that if you like the movie Gladiator and soundtracks like the Rome series and a lot of testosterone, you'll like it. It's very like barbaric. So
I'm looking forward to it.
Well, the video's gonna premiere. MySpace America's USA is premiering the video either this week or next week, so it's coming out any day, and it's really cool. Like the movie 300, it's got that type of feel. So.
We're about done. Is there anything else you want to tell fans?
We want to just keep, you know, thanking you guys for supporting us all these years and keeping things going. And you know, you're our inspiration because, you know, like I said on stage tonight, without them we mean nothing. And for us, it's important that we keep this bond going and just give us a reason to do this. You know, thank you for the support.
No problem.
Thank you.
All right.